Coming up, which top wrestling star chose Ring of Honor over WWE and AEW? Did Tessa Blanchard win the Impact World Championship after accusations of racism and bullying? And we've got the results of NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Monday Mecha News. I am Luke Owen, and we kick off today's WrestleTalk news with a game of...
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Marty Scurll, everyone, former WrestleTalk TV host Marty Scurll. After months and months of speculation, it's now been revealed where Marty Scurll will spend the next few years of his wrestling career. The leader of Villain Enterprises finished up with Ring of Honor last November, but agreed to work ROH's December pay-per-view final battle where he teamed with Flip Gordon in a losing effort to Bandido and Flamita. The following night, he debuted for NWA, starting a feud with Nick Aldis over the World's Championship. During all of this, there were a lot of rumors that Marty could be heading to either WWE, where he would join NXT, or All Elite Wrestling. And of the two options, AEW seemed like the most likely, given Scurll's history with the company's executive vice presidents Cody, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, and his high-profile match at the Genesis show for AEW All In back in September 2018. Being the Elite have even teased Marty coming into the fold, and fans speculated that Chris Jericho ending on the name Marty when reading out names from the lexicon of Jericho as a sign the villain was AEW bound. But there were also reports that WWE were offering a big money deal to sign Marty Scurll. Not only would they get one of the biggest names on the independent wrestling scene to the black and gold brand, they'd stop him from going to the competition. And in all of this, it was announced that Scurll agreed to more dates with Ring of Honor, where he lost the ROH 6-man tag team championships to Flamita, Bandido, and Ray Horace over the weekend, and after the match got attacked by NWA World Champion Aldis to further their storyline on Power. And it has since been revealed, first by Mike Johnson of PW Insider, then backed up by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, that Marty Scurll has re-signed with Ring of Honor, choosing them over AEW and WWE. Dave Meltzer added in his report it's the most lucrative deal in ROH history. The money side of things is somewhat unsurprising, given that ROH re-signed Matt Taven to a new deal in 2019, which was reportedly for way more money than any of the top stars in NXT. With regards to Scurll's deal, Meltzer added on Twitter, based on the details I've had in the past few days, it was the right move. Still awaiting more details, but he was given plenty of freedom to work elsewhere, but still a question regarding one promotion. That one promotion presumably being AEW. Perhaps a big part of Scurll choosing ROH over WWE and All Elite Wrestling comes from the second element of this story, as Mike Johnson added in his report that Scurll has joined the ROH booking team alongside Delirious. Johnson notes that Scurll had heavy input into the booking of the Saturday show, which was free for anyone to attend, and the idea of running it as a free show was reportedly Marty's idea. What do you think of Marty Scurll re-signing with Ring of Honor? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from my desk where I work, but I'll actually be catching up on the runs I missed from GDQ. But while AEW didn't get to sign Marty Scurll to a contract, they did get someone else. Thanks for your awesome support on Patreon, the Mayor of Painesville, Dan! We'll be going into the ins and outs of Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill in just a few moments, but before we do, it's been reported by SoCal Uncensored, no not that one, that former Impact World Champion Brian Cage has signed a deal with All Elite Wrestling, which is weird as AEW already have a Brian Cage in Wardlow. Steve Bryant of SCU is reporting that multiple sources have told them Cage has put pen to paper and will debut for AEW soon. According to Bryant, Cage had an offer from Impact Wrestling to stay and was even given an offer by ROH to sign with them, which reportedly was said to have been for the highest dollar amounts. Cage was supposed to be part of AEW's Casino Battle Royale from their Double or Nothing pay-per-view last year, but was taken out of the match by Impact's head honcho and former WrestleTalk insider Don Callis, who thought that having their world champion lose in a pre-show battle royal might not be the best look for Impact, which, in fairness, is an excellent point. But before you all get too excited, Brian Cage's wife Melissa Santos has denied SoCal Uncensored's report. report. Replying to them on Twitter, "I'm his wife and this is news to me," who confirmed this. Doubling down by retweeting the report, adding, "How can you confirm something that isn't true? I'm his wife and I can confirm he hasn't signed on any dotted line." So expect for him to debut on Dynamite this Wednesday. Now we're about to dive into spoiler territory as we cover the results from Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill. So if you do want to avoid what happened, head to the timestamp on screen. We're going into the spoiler room brawl in 3, 2, 1. You know, it's hard to deny that there isn't something to SoCal Uncensored's report about Brian Cage and AEW, as he was involved in a bizarre non-finish with Rob Van Dam that instead turned into a match against Daga, which RVD won. Ken Shamrock beat Madman Fulton, Moose defeated Rhino in a battle of the wrestlers named after animals, Ace Austin retained his X-Division Championship, the North retained their Tag Team Championships when they beat Willie Mack in a 2-on-1 handicap match, Rich Swann was diagnosed with a knee injury earlier in the day so was taken out of the match, and the main event saw Tessa Blanchard become the first woman to win the Impact World Championship. The first half of the show was quite terrible, but really picked up in the second half with a terrific main event. Impact have pushed the win hard on social media, listing Blanchard alongside all the previous holders of the title, and she was congratulated on Twitter by All Elite Wrestling Scorpio Sky. The pay-per-view feed was cut shortly after her win over Callahan, but we were sent this video from SWAP Nation member Corey on Twitter, where Blanchard cut this promo after the match.
8 months. This has been my life.
There you go, Tessa.
Sammy and Obi have been the thorn in my side, and tonight we did it. Nobody in this life is perfect. We're all human. And it doesn't matter what you say about me. It doesn't matter what you call me. I've got one of the strongest minds that I've ever known. So whenever you come for me, you come for all these people. And I am now the standard bearer of Impact Wrestling. And man or woman, pound for pound, I am one of the best in the world. And I am now your world champion.
The line "nobody is perfect" at the start of that promo appears to be a response to the recent accusations made against her on Twitter. The day before Hard to Kill, Tessa Blanchard took to Twitter to post, "Hey women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen." A lovely sentiment, many thought. However, that idea was not shared by some women in the wrestling community. The post was retweeted by Allison Kay, who wrestled for Impact as Sienna, saying, "Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women?" The audacity of this tweet. This is a very serious accusation, one that was backed up by several other wrestlers, including Chelsea Green, who worked for Impact as Laurel Van Ness, adding, "You've consistently put down, bullied and belittled countless female co-workers, including me. Is that support?" Priscilla Kelly added, "Remember publicly putting me down on Twitter last year for something that didn't involve you whatsoever, then continuing to drag my name to other people for it?" And Isla Dawn posted, "As someone who's experienced your bullying firsthand, received regular verbal abuse, was spat on, had rumors spread about me, dealt with multiple attempts by you to blacklist me from other companies, plus more, I just pray you now follow your own advice." While Impact Wrestling stayed quiet on the matter, Tessa herself posted on Twitter, "Not true, that's my statement and the most attention I'll give it because of how actually ridiculous it is." She then gave it more attention by replying to Chelsea Green, "I've never been anything but kind to you. I've dealt with mean girls since I started, not saying I'm a saint, hell I've had my ups and downs. And I've made silly decisions. Such is life. You have zero merit in your comments." There were those in the wrestling community who believed this was a target attack on Blanchard to discredit her World Championship match with Sami Callihan at Hard to Kill, with Impact wrestler Moose tweeting, "The timing of these tweets from you guys shows a lot about your characters." However, Sean Ross Sapp Fightful noted on Twitter that he's heard these stories about Tessa before. But Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill wasn't the only show over the weekend, as NXT UK had their second Blackpool Takeover show, and we're about to talk about the results of that show. So if you want to stay spoiler-free, I'd suggest clicking the WrestleTalk video that's just appeared above my head, as this will be the final story of the day. We're heading into the spoiler room brawl for a second time in 3, 2, 1. Trent Seven and Eddie Dennis kicked things off, which was designed to put Dennis over and move him up the card. He hit a nasty looking razor's edge to the floor and picked up the win with the next stop driver. Kaylee Ray retained her NXT UK Women's Championship in a really good three-way with Toni Storm and Piper Niven, built around Storm failing to regain her title. But the standout match, of course, was Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin, who had an all-time 5-star Match of the Year contender classic. But like a lot of NXT UK matches, it's a tree falling in the woods with no one around to hear it. Both men should be on a much bigger stage in WWE. And for me, it was surprising to give Bate the win, seeing as though there's little left for him to do in NXT UK. We've already seen his story with Walter last year, and for me, there's more mileage in pushing Devlin, who is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Hopefully, both of them get their shot. The 4-way ladder match was a lot of crazy fun, with Gallus retaining, but it was not a clean sweep for the group, as Joe Coffey failed to win the United Kingdom Championship from Walter in an overbooked main event. Coffey is not over to the level NXT UK want him to be, and having run-ins from Imperium and Ilya Dragunov didn't help the match. Walter retained, and Undisputed Era attacked Imperium to close the show. Overall, this was another great show from NXT UK. It's just a shame that WWE clearly don't care about the brand enough to actually push it. What's the latest on Becky Lynch's WWE contract? Click the video that's just appeared on screen to catch up with Chopper Pete Quinnell's SmackDown review, and watch me and Ollie dive into the week's biggest wrestling news by clicking the other video. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon pledge hammers, some of which you could see scrolling their way into my stomach. I've been Luke Owen, and that was Wrestling. Buy a piece of merchandise. This one right here I'm wearing.